thanks to Julian Sayin. And so what we're going to do, so we're going to have about 10 to maybe 15 minutes per player. We're going to have to take some.
Okay. Welcome to the 2025 College Football Quarterfinal at the 90th Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic team media availabilities from this year's participating teams. This media session will feature 4 student athletes from the offense and head coach Ryan Day from the second-seeded Ohio State, jointly moderated by me, Scotty Rogers, and the Ohio State communications staff. Each individual will appear separately to answer questions from the media attending in person and those joining via Zoom. For those on Zoom, please make sure to change your name to your full first and last name and use the raise hand function to indicate you want to ask a question. Mike?
Yes. Okay. Off we go. We'll start here in the front. Austin, go ahead.
Julian, what changes once you get an actual opponent? I know a lot, but what was the first film breakdown or the reaction to watching Miami on Saturday?
Yeah, kind of looking at both teams before, and then you get the result and see Miami. So just being able to dive into the film and break them down, and get prepared for this game and get your mind right.
Seeing what their defense did against Texas A&M in that game in that hostile place, just what jumps out and what caught your attention when you look at their defense?
Yeah, really good defense, really talented defense, well coached. Players know what they're doing. They're really smart players, and they tackle well, they cover well. They have a really good front seven, and the defensive line does a really good job for them. And there's some great players, so it's gonna be a tough challenge for us.
Front row there, Joey.
Julian, with the defense in Miami, they can get after the quarterback the way they did. What does that create you? What does that do for you, and sort of what you need to do in that sort of matchup?
Yeah, just as a quarterback, have to be extremely quick in your decision making, and you can't be holding on the ball forever, and putting our offensive line in stress. So just being on point as a quarterback is gonna help our offense stay on schedule.
Go over here to Cameron T. Robinson.
Julian, just how different were these last 2 weeks off, and just what did you guys do practice-wise? How did you kind of prepare for when you thought of when you're trying to pick between 2 different teams and then final?
Yeah, it's a little bit different, being off, not playing. But we've been practicing, and it's been great to practice against our defense. The best defense in the country. Practice against Coach Patricia and those guys. So it's been challenging, and they brought the best out of us these past couple weeks, just playing against those guys.
Steven.
Last year, you got to see Will go through this playoff run, and he was at his best in these games. What did you learn and take from him, watching him prepare for each and every single one of these playoff games that allowed him to have that level of success when he was playing at his best in these games that you can apply to yourself as you go into this now? Yeah,
I think just seeing him, the way he prepared last year in the playoffs, and was able to play his best football when it mattered the most. And as a quarterback, and as Coach Day always says, the best players are their best in the biggest games. So that's definitely something that we got to do going forward.
Jeremy.
Julian, as a quarterback, how valuable has it been to have Ryan Day more involved in your room and game planning and everything over the last couple weeks since he's had less on his plate?
Yeah, it's been great having him with us. Just a great quarterback coach and developer, and someone who really teaches the position really well. And we take so much from him, and just brings the best out of us and pushes us to be the best.
All right, we'll do one more here locally, and then we'll go to the Zoom. Doug, go ahead.
Julian, on Jeremiah Smith, both what he's just battled through with his injuries and that kind of thing in the back half of the year, and then also he seems excited, eager to be playing Miami in this game. Just what have you seen from Jeremiah? What do you see from Jeremiah?
Yeah, I think every week you see a guy who's extremely humble, but someone who works really hard and is a great leader for our offense, and someone who just shows up every day and brings their A game. So I'm excited for him in this matchup.
All right, Scotty, in the Zoom land, go ahead and call on anyone you need to.
Absolutely. We have 3 questions. The first one will come from Bill Landis. Bill, go ahead.
Hey, Julian. Could you detail a little bit your process with Carson and the O-line about getting protections communicated and how you think you've grown in that area this year?
Yeah, I think early on it was great to have a guy like Carson, a vet who can really just help me, bring me along, and I think throughout the season I've gained more confidence in that area. We work great together. I think we are on the same page with everything in our protection.
Our next question is going to come from Christian Procia. Christian, go ahead.
Hey, Julian, how's it going? Good to talk to you again. When you look at this Miami defense, obviously 7 sacks against A&M, 3 takeaways. What is the biggest thing that you're looking for as far as just making sure you're taking care of the ball and not giving up all of those turnovers?
Yeah, they're a really good defense, and they're really well coached. And they, last game they obviously created a lot of turnovers, so it's going to be important for us to take care of the football and not put our team in a bad situation and put our defense in any bad spots. Because we have a lot of trust in our defense. We have a great defense. So I think just taking care of the football is going to be extremely important in this game.
Our final question from Zoom will come from Brandon Stone. Go ahead, Brandon.
There we go. All right, good. Can you hear me, sir?
Yep.
Julian, first off, next time somebody asks you about any award you won in San Diego, you can say silver pigskin in full. It's okay. You're allowed to. I got 3 questions here. First one would be just could you talk about your experience in New York and being around all 3 of those guys and living the life of a superstar?
Yeah, it was a great experience in New York, and was honored to be out there, and really grateful for the opportunity. And it was just testament to the community that we have here at Ohio State, and the players around me. So it was awesome. But it's we're back to work, and we're excited about this next matchup.
I think anyone that's known you has felt like you've been an adult since you were 12 or 13 years old, the way that you play and your discipline is. But going through these last couple of months, do you really feel like you've truly grown into that adulthood, or is there still that youthful nature of, boy, I'm just a kid out here playing this game and I'm getting to be on these fun stages?
Yeah, I think it's just being a kid and playing the game I love. Growing up, I always wanted to play on the biggest stage and play in front of hundreds of thousands of fans. So it's been awesome this past season, and I think just developing and gaining confidence throughout each week, and just building that into next week.
All right, Mike.
Okay, back locally, we'll go to Bill right in the front row.
Julian, you've been sacked only 6 times going into the Indiana game. Got sacked 5 times. When you watched the tape of that, what did you see? What have you worked on? Both you, linemen, running backs, whoever.
Yeah, just as an offense, we have to execute better. And, a lot of it's, on me. I gotta, can't hold on to the ball as long and, get the ball out of my hand and, keep us on schedule. When we get sacked and getting those 3rd and long, 2nd and longs, it makes it tougher on our offense. So just, being able to, keep us on schedule and, get us into the right play.
Julian, when you were named starting quarterback in camp, like everybody knows the team goals. I'm curious your personal expectations for yourself. If you can think back to camp, what were your expectations for you personally?
Yeah, I think as a quarterback, I expect a lot out of myself, and I'm hard on myself. If I make a mistake, I'm hard on myself, and I'm the first one to put it on me. But I think just it's been a great season, and I'm just excited for it to continue.
Yeah, June, 2 quickies. Do you notice a specific player when you come to the line of scrimmage, like Reuben Bain, number 4? Will you keep your eye on him? I mean, how do you prepare for a guy like that? And then number 2, specifically, what did you learn from Will Howard? Did he step up more as a leader as that went on? Did he watch more video? Just, what did you see specifically from him that maybe changed as y'all got into the playoffs?
Yeah, for the Will part, I think, you definitely saw the leadership aspect from him in the playoffs, and then just the preparation aspect, and, just knowing where he's going with the football every play. And then, for the other question, I think, when you come up to the line of scrimmage and they have 2 really good edge rushers, so you definitely have to be aware of them because they can cause a lot of problems for you as a quarterback, and just being aware of them and, knowing where we have to go with the football.
Julian, you've talked a couple times just now about holding on to the ball too long. Are there some plays that you're thinking about where you felt like you did that, or in situations where you maybe feel like you've done that? What causes it, do you think?
Yeah, I think, it's you're kind of hanging on for a play and thinking it's going to be there, and then you're waiting and waiting. But we just got to get the ball out of our hand and check it down if it's not there. And so there's definitely been some plays like that this season where I think I could have just done a better job in helping us stay on schedule as an offense.
What's that? That's a balance for a quarterback of trying to hang in, maybe waiting for a bigger play to develop versus just get rid of it.
Yeah, there is, because sometimes you're waiting. You might have a big shot down the field. You're waiting, but sometimes we can just get the ball out of our hand. We see it. Let's get it out now. Let's get the ball and get 5 yards and move on to the next play.
All righty. Julian, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Julian.
Bring on Max Klare here next.
I try to do better. It's kind of like
All right, Scott, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, guys, we got Max Klare here. Looking around the room for hands. Good. We'll start with Tim Mayer.
Thanks. Max, what's your excitement level, I guess, for want of another term, going into a game like this, the start of the playoffs? You're thinking you got to get ready for one, but you might have to play three. You understand what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah, no doubt.
Is this like you got to put everything into this one? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Obviously, it's a new experience for me coming from Purdue. So, being on a team like this and being able to have this opportunity in front of us, it's really exciting for me.
What's your impressions after seeing the way they played against Texas A&M defensively, and how big of a challenge is this? Is this maybe the toughest defense you guys will face?
Yeah, I think it's a big challenge. Obviously, they're really talented. They play really hard, and they do a lot of things really well. So offensively, we're going to have to be on point and put together a great plan and trust that plan and go out there and execute.
Max, you mentioned the difference, coming from Purdue. When you transferred here, were these the kind of games that you were thinking about playing in?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is what college football is all about, and to be able to go out there with this team and do that, it's extremely exciting and something I've always wanted to do and kind of a childhood dream. So, definitely.
When you got here, I guess, the season-long approach that, Coach Day's talked a lot about preparing to play, 16, 17 potential games in the season. How much does that kind of, become more of an emphasis now, knowing that, yes, there's one game at hand, but there's also kind of a run here that you guys are trying to put together?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's just one game. That's all we got, you know what I mean? And it's a one-game season, and we got to attack this week every day, attack it like that, and go out there and approach it as a one-game season and win that game. So one game at a time.
Max, when you came here, you talked about wanting to become a more complete tight end. You talked about the blocking from the team. When you see, you're not an offensive tackle, but when you see the matchups of Ruben Bain and those guys on the defensive line, do you kind of get excited to be able to kind of help out and go against those defensive ends like the offensive linemen do?
Yeah, definitely. Anything I can do to help the team succeed, whether it's block at the end or block on the perimeter or catch a ball. I mean, I'm excited about anything, and I'm excited to go out there and compete at the highest level.
Max, just the way Julian handles himself, especially just being a young guy, even if he's a fifth-year senior, he seems to handle himself really well. But just what stands out about his demeanor, so to speak?
Yeah, I think it's just the consistency that he brings on a daily basis, whether that's in practice or the games. I mean, he's just a consistent person all the way through, and that's something that you really want in a quarterback, and that's what we got in Julian. So it's very exciting to have a guy like that and someone everyone can lean on, when times get tough.
You guys obviously have had this time off since the Big Ten Championship game. Miami played this weekend. How do you keep that edge that you guys had going week by week with this long layoff so far and then going forward?
Yeah, I think that's something the coaches have put a big emphasis on, and that's just the way we practice every day. I mean, going out there and competing against each other, best on best, and attacking every day, keeping that edge, and so we can be ready to go come next Wednesday.
I think this was an angry team after the Big Ten Championship game. Is this still an angry team?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have a lot to prove. We have a chip on our shoulder now, and I think the guys are excited to go write a story after what happened a couple weeks ago.
All right, we'll go to Scotty Rogers with anyone on Zoom.
Yes, we have one question on Zoom, and that will come from Joe Reedy. Go ahead, Joe.
Thanks, Scotty. Max, just in terms of Julian's game from what you've seen this season, I know you talked about his demeanor earlier. What's the biggest areas of improvement or progression that you've seen during the year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, how comfortable he is back there. Obviously, he was new to the position early on, but he was still super comfortable. But I think he's just gotten even more comfortable throughout the season. And, it shows through what he does on a week-to-week basis.
We have one more question from Zoom, and it will come from Dan Tora. Go ahead, Dan.
Max, happy to see you here, and congratulations on getting to this point. Just what you can say about the road to get to where you are right now, and just maybe the one moment or two that sticks out to you on how you were kind of challenged this season adversity-wise.
Yeah, I think it's been a long road. Obviously, through the recruiting process and everything like that, I've been challenged here a lot, whether that's preseason or even during the season. So, those challenges have definitely built me up into a better player, and it's something that I'm really appreciative of.
Mike, back to you.
Yeah, Max, earlier this year you had a game against Purdue that probably emotionally meant a little bit more to you. I think you could make a similar case, Jeremiah. It's not apples to apples, but this is one that might geographically mean more to him. I'm curious, your thoughts on you guys kind of banding around him this week in a matchup that matters.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Obviously, going back home. I mean, a lot of our guys are going back home. Playing against a team from back home. So I think there's a lot of built-up excitement for that. Just as, like you said, for me, going against Purdue. And, I think we just got to lean on that energy and build off of that energy that they have and carry that with us.
Max, you said you guys have a chip on your shoulder. You talk to guys around the team all year. They've said that all year. Obviously, you lose in the end, you feel like you have more to prove. But how has that message changed? How has that feeling changed amongst the team in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think guys are as hungry as ever, and excited to go out there and rewrite the story and create our own story this year. And I think that chip is something that's continues to grow, practice in, practice out. So definitely.
Earlier in the year, I guess maybe when you first got here, we were told maybe you had a little bit of an adjustment period to learn the physicality of practicing every day at Ohio State. How do you think that's grown through the season? How prepared are you now for what's probably going to be a physical game for you guys in Dallas compared to where you were when you first got here?
Right, no, absolutely. I think, the physicality of playing at Ohio State and the practices here will prepare you for a stretch like this that, we want to go on. And, playing against guys like Ruben Bain and those guys, it's going to be a great test and, something that we're prepared for.
Hard to not play a game in several weeks, especially with the way the last one ended?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been kind of weird. It's felt like a half a year, I feel like. So it's definitely a little weird. It's something that I've never really experienced. So it's the first time for me.
You came here because you wanted to become a complete tight end before you would enter the NFL. I don't know if that was a big goal of yours. Do you feel like you've accomplished that? And do you have any thoughts on whether you're coming back next year?
Right. No, I think me personally, I think I always have a lot of room to grow in all aspects of my game. And, it's something that I still have to make a decision on, have conversations and figure that out.
You said you have a lot of room to grow. Where are those areas that you are looking to grow? And then, as you look to make that decision, what are some of the factors in that NFL decision for you?
Right. I think in terms of room to grow, I got all aspects of the game, whether that's in the run game, pass game, always looking for improvement and, just to grow as a player, just as anyone would. And there's just a lot of factors that come into play with that. So,
Max, we know Brian Hartline has other things that he's dealing with. He's also here with you guys. How much has Ryan Day maybe been more directly involved with the offense since the Big Ten championship game?
Yeah, I think he's definitely had a more of a focus on the players and trying to get this offense going. You know what I mean, and putting us in the best position as possible to go out there and have success come next Wednesday.
Yeah, Max.
Time for one more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What did y'all specifically address over these last couple of weeks that kind of fell short against Indiana from an offensive standpoint and stuff? Obviously, the finishing aspect of things, 2 times inside the 10 and no points. What did y'all address?
Yeah, I think it really just comes down to execution. Against Indiana, we just didn't execute at the level we were supposed to, and it's something we got to focus on and make sure we're locked in on. So it really just comes down to execution at the end of the day.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Max. All right. All good? Yeah, all good, yeah. Step on up.
All good.
All right, Scotty, we got Carson Hinzman here, starting center. We'll start with some questions here locally. We'll go to Andy Anders. Go ahead.
Yeah, Carson, just as you guys broke down the film, what did you see that maybe went wrong in pass protection, and how have you worked to correct that in these few weeks leading to the CFP?
Yeah, obviously our pass protection wasn't up to par of what our expectation is. Looking at some of the things, just going back to fundamentals, I think over this next couple of weeks, we know what's going to be important. I've fortunately been in this position last year. Somewhat similar of a situation where you see some things where you're like, okay, as the season progresses, maybe sometimes you get away from a little bit of fundamental work, but that's exactly what we've been doing this past couple of weeks to get back into it, to get ready to go play some of these great defensive ends, defensive rushers that we have coming out.
What did Gabe prove to you guys there in the second half?
The game you said?
Gabe, when he got in there in the second half.
Van Sickle, yeah. Sickle mode, he's been, proven that he's more than capable of going out there and playing with us. We always talk about, what are you doing, how are you doing it, and why you're doing it. And I think he's done a great job of not only building his own confidence, but building, confidence with, Philip and I playing in between there. And so for him to be able to go out there and, show we have, more depth than we thought, I think, originally, was really important, especially going to this, latter half of the season.
All the way in the back, yeah, Helen.
You mentioned last year, it seemed like you guys really flipped the switch last year in the college football playoff. What was it that you think enabled you guys to do that last year, and how do you do it again this year?
Yeah, I think it's just getting back to the basics. I think we always say, the foundation we built is going to be the thing that, carries us through all the storms and stuff like that. And so I think for us, these little bit of a space and a little bit of gap time we've had right now has been getting back to the basics, back to the fundamentals, working really hard in practice and not getting complacent. I think it's easy for teams that have had, we've had a really successful regular season to get complacent, and that's not at all where we're at. So even though we have a new team right now, or a much different looking team than last year, I feel like everyone has the same message and same goal in mind.
I know you guys weren't happy with what happened at Indiana. Does that fire you? Because you guys have had an edge all season long, a nastiness, and for whatever reason it seemed to be lacking a little bit. Has that fired you guys up going in this game?
Yeah, absolutely. I think playing offensive line here, I think you develop an edge, and I think when the edge isn't portrayed or it isn't shown in the game, I think it definitely fires the guys up a little bit because at the end of the day, I truly believe the guys we have, if we're playing at our best level, with, I think we play with anyone in the country. So absolutely, it does fire us up, and I think that's kind of been the message throughout the room that we get back to who we were on that Team North game.
Third row in the middle, Spencer.
Everybody talks about the Miami defensive ends, but the tackles kind of help that thing go.
Yeah.
What have you seen from the defensive tackles there, and how big of a challenge do you think that's going to be?
Yeah, the interior there is good. They're elite level defense. It'll be a great challenge for us to go out and play, a competitor that we haven't really originally. Watching the A&M game, obviously they get pressure. They do what they're supposed to do, and so it's going to be a great challenge, like you said, for us up front. Like you said, obviously interior-wise, but obviously the edges are elite. So it's going to be a good game and good opportunity for us to go show what we're about.
Okay, we'll go to the internet and to Zoom. Scotty, take it over.
Yes, sir. Our first question is going to come from Bill Landis. Go ahead, Bill.
Hey, Carson, how do you think it's gone with Julian this year when you guys have to communicate protections and sort of identify all the moving parts of the defense? He said you were a big help to him early on this seaon. Now that you're 13 games into this, what's that relationship like, getting that stuff figured out?
Yeah, I mean, it's been, I don't know, I'm not really sure where to look for you. Speak to upwards. But, yeah, no, I mean, it's been good. He's been growing, every game we played. He's an extremely smart individual. It's been really fun to be able to work with him and see kind of his thoughts because, I mean, there's, a million ways to skin a cat. There's a million ways to diagnose a, pass protection front. And sometimes the way I see it isn't the way he sees it and vice versa. But at the end of the day, we figure out good ways to, alleviate some of the pressure on him. And so I feel like this past game, obviously we worked through some stuff. And I think this game, these games coming up will be a great opportunity to show that we've worked through a little bit of the kinks there and have a good plan to keep him protected.
Next question will come from Brianna McKay. Go ahead, Brianna.
Hi. You talked a little about Miami's defense. Is there any similarities that you see from what you saw against Indiana that you can go back and look and take lessons from going up against Miami, just comparing the two defenses?
Yeah, I mean, I guess necessarily like defensive scheme-wise, they're not really a whole lot similar in that aspect. There might be a little bit similar to other games we played earlier this year, but just defensive scheme-wise, player-wise, obviously a little bit different as well. So it's just comes down to doing a great job of film watching, preparing for your opponent. I've been blessed to be a part of a lot of games, so nothing we haven't seen before. Like I said, they're elite level players, and it'd be an elite level game. I got to be prepared to play 60 minutes against a great defense, so that's all we're doing.
Next question is going to come from Christian Procia. Christian?
Hey, Carson, how's it going? When you look at this Miami defense coming off of a 7-sack game against Texas A&M, you as the leader of this offensive line, especially having 2 weeks to come off of that Indiana game, what's the biggest message that you've sent to all the other guys on the line as far as, hey, we can't let them have another disruptive defensive day like this?
Yeah, I think that comes down to being efficient in those early downs. I think for us, it's going to be really important to run the run game, or to be able to be in charge of the run game as the offensive line, being in charge of keeping Julian, safe. I think these games come down to being able to make positive throws and completions and keeping us on schedule. And so for us to be able to have a part in that is going to be huge this game.
Our next question is going to come from Dan Tortora. Dan, go ahead.
Carson, just what you could say to the fact of not just, what you endured this last game against Indiana, but overall this season, of the guys that are on either side of you on this offensive line, to take a deeper look at how this offensive line has grown from game one to stepping into the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, I think experience is invaluable, and I think to see how guys have stepped up and have embraced their roles, I think has been huge. Like I just said a little bit earlier, Gabe has been doing a great job, stepping into that right guard position right now, as well as other guys that have rotated that position. Josh Padilla as well has been doing a great job, just saying, just learning and growing. He's an absolutely fantastic player as well as, all of our depth. And I think, like I said, this is really, the latter half of the season is where you show your depth and show your stripes and show the kind of foundation you built. And so it's going to be important that we have all those guys. And I think through the season, we've had a lot of opportunities to get those guys experience as well. And I think that's been perfect for what we're going into.
That's all from Zoom. Mike?
Okay, thank you. We'll do one more here.
Buckeyes.
Doug, go ahead.
Did you call Gabe Van Sickle sicko mode?
Oh, yeah. There's a whole lot of nicknames on offensive line. That's why I said Gabe, and I was like, I don't really know who that is. But that's sicko. You gotta love sicko. We got actually Secret Santa coming up today, so we gotta stay in tune for that. So we're really excited. So a whole lot of nicknames coming up, and who's ever getting gifts today, but it'll be good.
Is that related to how he plays in sicko mode, or why?
I think it's just, for some reason, it's funner to say than Gabe. I don't know. It's kind of like calling Austin Piggy and stuff like that. I don't know. We all, the brotherhood grows closer, man. You get a lot of inside jokes every now and then, but yeah, that'll be fun.
What's all the other starters' nicknames?
I don't know if I should say all of them. I'll say it depends who's talking to him, if it's me or the coaches. But no, I'm just kidding. No, I mean like Austin's Piggy. You know, I always call it. I mean, me and Luke always go back and forth a lot. I always call him Montgomery, but whatever. We just go back and forth. Like I said, Teg is Tigre. Gabe's Sicko Mode. Josh is Dilla. Like I don't think anyone actually knows his real name. Dilla or Padilla. Yeah. Julian's Big J. Ethan. I don't think anyone knew his name was Ethan. Everyone just called him Big E for the longest time. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, our brotherhood, you know, really close guys. It's been fun to be part of a group that, you know, came, you know, together off a lot of, you know, experience leaving and stuff like that, and been a part of like kind of the growth back into it, and going, you know, playing these big games with them is pretty special.
What's your nickname?
Mine? It said depends who you ask. I don't know. I don't know. We'll keep that one under wraps for now.
Is the blonde here to stay?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Well, all the guys are like, when's it going to wash out? And I was like, that's actually the funny thing about bleaching your hair is it doesn't. Yeah. Unfortunately. It was really cool until I woke up the next morning and I'm like, oh, I'm still blonde. So, yeah. So we'll see. It'll be cool when it's frosted tips, but yeah, my girlfriend's not necessarily the biggest proponent of it, so we'll see.
Carson, thank you.
Very good. Appreciate you guys. Sorry. I know. I'm not going to close anymore.
All right, Scotty, we got our final player, Jeremiah Smith. We'll start locally here. I'll start in the front with Bill Rabinowitz.
Jeremiah, two quick things. One, how motivated are you to play Miami, given you're from there and they recruited you very hard? And secondly, your reaction to not winning the Biletnikoff and the chip on the shoulder that I'm assuming is there.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited to play the guys from back home. It was like a second home to me. I'm from there. Had a good relationship with all the coaches, a lot of players on the team, a lot of people I played with in high school. Second, the Biletnikoff. I mean, just use it as motivation. Can't think too much of it. That's what they chose to win. That's what they chose to win it. Makai Lemon is a great receiver. Had a great season, so can't knock him for that. I mean, he's a great receiver. Gonna be a first-round draft pick, so I can't really complain about it. Got to just worry about what's in front of me, and that's beating Miami.
Jeremiah, I remember you said last year, going into the Tennessee game, that you wanted Coach Hartline to push you harder. You taking the same approach going into this year's CFP, wanting to be pushed harder?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I had talks with Keenan Bailey. I mean, I know Coach Hartline will always continue to push me hard, no matter what it is. But yeah, I always still want to be pushing. Now it's time to crank it up a little bit because now it's time to win another 90 around here.
What's the motivation like for you guys coming out of the Indiana game, and just what jumps out when you look at this Miami defense?
Miami defense is pretty good defense. That front is something special. You got Ruben Bain, got two good DNs, got a good interior, got a good back end. Their linebackers are very good. And mentality right now is just go out and just dominate everybody that's in front of us. We left a bad taste in our mouth against Indiana in the Big Ten championship. So obviously, we got to do better. Got to score in the red zone, and we got to just capitalize on everything that we do from here on out.
Jeremiah, Miami obviously played a game this weekend. You guys have been off in terms of games. How do you kind of keep that edge? Last year you were the team that was playing against Oregon. How do you maintain that same edge you had all season without a game?
I mean, just the way we practice, that's really the biggest thing. I mean, even Coach Day came out and said that practice towards the end of the year wasn't as intense as it was in the beginning of the year. So I feel like the way we practice over the last week and a half has been very intense. We've been flying around everywhere, having good energy. So that's really the biggest thing, just keeping our edge the way we practice.
When you look at Brian Hartline, I know he's got a new role, but how has he still kind of kept himself integrated in the wide receiver room and as the offensive coordinator over the last few weeks?
Yeah, Coach Hartline's been around, been helping us a lot in the receiving room. Very excited for him and the new role that he have there at USF, I should say. And he's still around, just still helping us. So very excited for him.
JJ, you mentioned talking to Keenan about that. What's been his
role for the last couple of weeks? Has he been more involved with you wide receivers?
Yeah, he's been involved with us over the last couple of weeks. Just helping us the game plan and stuff like that. But he's still, he's in the receiver room for sure.
Jeremiah, what was the stretch for you in November like, where you're going through rehab, trying to playing hurt? Just what was that like for you? How hard was that? What was your experience like?
Yeah, just a little adversity, I should say. Something I never really had to deal with. I don't really be hurt or nothing like that. Nothing really bothers me, but that was something serious that I had to deal with. After that, was it Rutgers week? I was, feeling down. Like I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna play against Team of North. Like so I was debating if I was gonna play or not because it was really bad. I didn't know if I was gonna be able to play. But I had to do, everything for the team, and I wanted to be out there, and I did everything I could, and we got the win. So.
What kind of injury were you dealing with?
I was dealing with a quad strain. It's called rectus femur, something like that, I should say. But I really supposed to been out 3 to 4 weeks, and for me to be able to pull out of it, I give all the glory to God for that one.
Was there ever a time, Jeremiah, where you wondered if maybe you wouldn't be able to play the rest of this season? How concerned were you?
I don't think I was very worried about not missing the whole season. I think I was more worried about missing that game. That was the biggest thing for me. I didn't want to miss that game, so I did everything I could to not miss it because I wanted to play in that game for sure.
Yeah, Jeremiah, you said you're excited to play the guys back home. It's probably mutual. I mean, what kind of, attention do you expect? Do you expect anything, late hits, anything like that in your regard?
Late hits, stuff like that. I'm not really worried about that because I'm probably going to be the one doing it too. I'm going to be a little chippy out there, so I'm bringing it all this week. So, yeah.
All right, we'll go to the internet and to Zoom. Scotty, take it over.
Yes, sir. Our first question will come from Joe Reedy. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey, Jeremiah, a couple quick questions for you. How do you keep your emotions in balance just over the next couple weeks? Because you're facing a lot of guys that you used to go against in high school and everything, and just also, too, going back to the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, I know I got to keep my emotions. A lot of guys on this Miami team I played with or played against in high school. So I know I got to keep my emotions very high because there's going to be a little chippiness out there. So I know Coach Dave, Coach Hartline, everybody going to tell me, just keep my emotions in check and, just don't get a 15-yard penalty.
And then just in South Florida and everything, is there still animosity with Ohio State based on that 2002 national championship game?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you see it all over the internet, all over Twitter. They still talking about that, 20 years later, but they still worry about it. But we got something for them come New Year's Eve.
Okay, thanks.
Our next question will come from Christian. Go ahead, Christian.
Hey, Jeremiah, how's it going? Being able to play against, I know you guys are obviously on opposite sidelines, but this is your first time matching up against JoJo in college. How nice is that to be able to see the dude who you won numerous state championships with, and you guys just dominated the South Florida high school scene?
Yeah, it's truly special. It's something me and JoJo talked about since we was the age of 11 years old. And for us to be on this stage right now, going against each other in the Cotton Bowl, something that we dreamed of. I can't wait to see him after the game, say what's up, take a couple pictures with him, see his family and stuff like that. So I'm very excited for me and JoJo.
Next question will come from Brianna McKay. Go ahead.
Hi, Jeremiah. You mentioned that you were worried that you might not be able to play in the Michigan game. Did you go into that game feeling 100%? And do you feel like you're at 100% even now?
Going into that game, no, I was not 100%. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Still was kind of banged up a little bit. But right now, yes, I'm back healthy, fully healthy. So should be good to go.
Our next question will come from Brandon Stone.
Hello there, Jay. Hope you're doing well this week in your holiday season. I'm wondering about Keontae Scott, if you've watched any video of him, if you've noticed him this year as a corner, and your thoughts on going against him and his success.
Corner, I think he plays nickel, to be honest. But he's a very good football player. Flies to the ball, make plays, could cover very well. Very good fit in the run game. So he's a very good football player, I should say.
Excellent. That's it. Thank you.
No problem.
Next question will come from Bill Landis. Go ahead, Bill.
Jeremiah, when you said you weren't 100% there toward the end of the regular season, in what ways did you feel limited? And I guess, what do you think people will see from you now that you feel like you're back to 100%?
Yeah, I think the things people will see in me is a healthy Jeremiah Smith, what they seen beginning of the year. It was just a little bit of adversity. Can't think too much of it. It's in my past now, so I'm just focused on Miami.
Our next question will come from Dan Torator.
Jeremiah, just looking at from last season to this season, coming from a national championship to the opportunity to play for another one, where have you personally grown the most on and off the field as you see your evolution?
I've grown as becoming more of a leader, using my voice, really the biggest thing, and just becoming a better student of the game. It was the biggest thing for me this season. I think I did a very good job of that.
Our final question from Zoom land will come from Jalen Meadows. Go ahead, Jalen.
Hey Jeremiah, what have you learned mentally over the course of the season that's helped your game?
What have I learned mentally? That's a good question. Just let the game come to you. That's really what I would say. Don't be trying to force stuff. I think that's something that I did in the beginning of the year, like the first 5 to 6 games. Just rushing and just want the ball and stuff like that. Just rushing stuff, like forcing stuff that ain't there, and just getting mad about stuff I can't control. That's one thing I found myself getting mad about in the first couple of games. Just being mad about things I can't control. That's out of control.
Mike, that's it from Zoom.
Okay, thank you. We'll do one more locally here. Spencer.
Jeremiah, knowing that, in all honesty, you probably only have 3 games maximum left with Carnell, what has Carnell meant to you in the wide receiver room, as teaching you the ways of college football last year, and how excited are you just to get these final few opportunities with him?
Yeah, Carnell meant a lot to me. Coming in as a freshman helped me a lot throughout my freshman year. Still helped me a lot this year as well. Carnell is a special person on and off the field. Y'all see the things that he do for us in the run game, and the type of routes that he run, the way he's able to beat defenders down the field, contested catches, everything like that. But Carnell is something special, and I'm very excited to be on this journey with him. And he's a first-round job pick for sure.
When did the injury happen? And just quite frankly, do you regret playing in that UCLA game when you were limping around after the game?
Do I regret? Nah, because I didn't want to miss the game. I practiced all week. The injury, I think, happened in practice. I don't remember exactly when, but it happened in practice. But I don't regret not playing in the game. I try to go out there and do it for the team. That's all about. I'm all about the team. Whatever the team need me to do, I'm gonna do it. I played 2-3 drives and started bothering me a little bit. I told coaches I'm not going back in. It's messing with me, so I do everything I could.
All right, Jeremiah, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.